Welcome back, everybody, to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with, of course, over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, make sure you check out Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over here from Two Goalies, One Mic. Always great options, whether it's the FEM, Mango Wheat, you're a Mug Club member, so many different beer options to choose from, and lots of cool stuff to do there, whether it's trivia, live music, entertainment, different activities. Always lots of fun over at Fatty Beer. And of course, Extreme Discount Mattress with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds, featuring the Cool Gel Memory Foam two-sided mattresses, Tele Latex, organic mattresses, Chad and Wells, and of course, Scott and Living, all for 1/3 to a half the supposed sale prices anywhere. So stop into any of their 7 locations across Western New York, or of course, check out their website, extrememattress.com. That is Extreme with an X. If you're looking for more savings, check out the new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. With 80% off their already low prices, you can save a fortune on one-of-a-kinds, closeouts, and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. And remember, mention that you're a fan of Two Goalies, One Mic. Get yourself a free mattress protector with any purchase of a mattress. So you can't go wrong with Extreme Discount Mattress. And I'll throw a shout out to our third sponsor, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York, located at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York. 5-class facility, 5-class staff over at Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. Currently helping me get on the mend from my very traumatic broken leg last year to get me back on the ice. You're actually keep an eye out. We're going to have Alex Peters himself is going to give his thoughts on the Benson injury and what we could be looking at as he actually texted me during the game and said that is something that I've seen a lot in my experience as a physical therapist, sports physical therapist, working with different hockey teams. So he's going to give us his thoughts here soon. So keep an eye out for that on Twitter and Instagram. Hurls, after that long-winded ad read, Alex Lyon. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, he was huge. He was absolutely huge, especially on that 5-on-3 in the third. I thought the defense did a pretty good job of clearing the lanes and letting him see pucks, but you still got to make the save, especially on that Verhaeghe opportunity. Pretty soon into that 5-on-3, he stared him down, and he didn't necessarily even challenge that much either. He just reacted, and he made a huge save. And following those 2 early goals, which were not his fault, I thought he played a really, really good game. And when you get down 2-0, that's what you need from your goaltender. And he's provided that all season long, but especially tonight in a revenge game for him as a former Florida Panther against a team with obviously a ton of pedigree. Injuries galore, not necessarily the same team that won 2 Stanley Cups in a row, but still a massive win, massive 2 points, right? Another regulation win, which the Sabres have a lot of compared to their competition in the East right now. So cannot be overstated. Absolutely huge.
Yeah. You said, I thought Payton Krebs probably had the best game of his Sabres career today, or close to it. I thought he was fantastic. Josh Doan, Shane Doan 2.0, as intern Joey put it during the live tweets today. He was fantastic. Dage, is there maybe next to Cole Caulfield, a hotter player going into the Olympics right now? He's just playing out of his mind.
Yeah, as Cole Caulfield was doing his Mr. Saturday Night routine this past Saturday, I thought to myself how he possibly can't be on the team. I think that would help USA a lot. 3rd leading goal scorer in the league, but behind only, I think it was Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, 2 pretty good players. Mm-hmm. So that's unfortunate, but it speaks to how well Tage is playing, especially since the new year and when he was announced on the team. So, yeah, I mean, I said it. Thank God for Tage. Like, that goal and his ability to manipulate defenders in the offensive zone, and that all-world shot, which is nobody's going to stop if he gets it off in the right spot. And yeah, that changed the momentum in the first period very, very quickly.
Yeah, and listen, they got in that 2-0 hole early, like you said, like how crucial that goal was, and just filthy moving and patting Tage Thompson fashion. But you go down 3-0 there, man. You're going against arguably one of the best goalies in the world. We talked about it the other night with Carter Hutt and how good Bob is. You that's still the defending Stanley Cup champions. Obviously, it's not the same roster as last year. Dealt with a lot of injuries, dealt with a lot of their own adversity this season. But you get a 3-0 hole against them. That is very difficult to claw out of. But Tage, gets them battles back, gets it to 2-1, and then Krebs off a unbelievable sauce pass from Darlene ties it before heading into the second period.
It's a really good game from Payton Krebs, especially tonight. He has shown a lot, I think, in the past couple months that he's not necessarily just this agitator, this fourth line guy that'll give you a good couple minutes here and there. He's really rounded his game into form, especially on the skillful end. He's made some really good plays as of late, and a goal and a huge assist tonight. I think he's shown his value to this team over the past couple months, and as a part of the Jack Eichel trade, you would hope that it would eventually round into form a few years later. Obviously, he's still very young. I think people forget that about him, and he has the pedigree himself, being a first-round pick and being Vegas's top prospect when they traded him to Buffalo. But really happy to see that from Krebs. He's obviously integral to the locker room. The guys love him. He'll, of course, throw himself into any situation, no matter who he's going against, what the size of the opposing player is. He's the heart and soul of a lot to do with this team. And to see him get rewarded for his hard work is really great to see.
Yeah, and listen, we had this conversation a couple times already, and like you talk about the imminent trade deadline, this roster freeze for the Olympics. You kind of try and look up and down your lineup and where you can improve. Who comes out? Who do you add in? I'm not saying he's untouchable. Nobody, there's the list of untouchables on this team. I think it's a bit longer than it was to start the season, but it's still not very long. I have a hard time being convinced that we need to trade Payton Krebs. It takes a lot more convincing now for me.
Definitely don't need to. I don't think you need to trade anybody at the moment, given the way they're going. I think not messing up the culture in the locker room and the momentum and the camaraderie and the feeling that they've built over the past 2 months is important. And I think Jarmo's definitely taking note of that. Like seems like he's got a good feel for the locker room. Obviously, guys call him intimidating, but I think he's just noticing, kind of like the rest of us are, what this team has built, especially on a night like tonight. Like going down early 2-0, that looked pretty bleak. Coming off a tough loss to the Canadiens the other night, that could have been really ugly, and it would have made a lot of us question what this team was going into the Olympic break, especially if they go into Tampa on a back-to-back tomorrow night and not perform, or Tampa performs the way that they usually do, and it's going to be another tough game. So the ability to come back in the way that they did, I think, speaks a lot to the character of this group. It speaks a lot to the coaching staff, and I don't think you necessarily need to trade anybody. I really don't. Maybe if you want to raise the ceiling a little bit and potentially get yourself into a better position to win 1 or 2 rounds, then potentially you need more skill or you need more depth on the D end. But I don't know. I think the prospect system is good enough. I think you've got enough first-round picks that you won't need over the next few years, as we've talked about the past few years, which thankfully they're coming to fruition recently. But you don't need to trade anybody that's a night-to-night player on this roster.
I kind of disregard the chat here for while we kind of opened the show. When I first looked at it, there was 29. That was a couple minutes ago. Only 29 comments. We're now at almost 150. So I love it. I mean, I hate it because like I try and keep up with you guys throughout the show. It's a lot easier when Connor with Connor here, because while he's talking, I can do that. But I'm sorry, I completely disregard the chat. I'm already getting yelled at. So I apologize. That penalty kill, Hurls. How convinced were you that we were looking at a tie game there with what was a minute and 15 seconds of 5-on-3?
I don't know. Our penalty kill is really good, and I think I've seen a few times this season, even with a 5-on-3, they get their sticks in lanes. They're covering guys in the back door. They're staying tight, especially to their triangle on a 5-on-3. I was obviously worried, but I am confident in this penalty kill. I'm not sure where they rank at the moment. Obviously, they were in the top 5 of the league for the first half of the season, even when the team wasn't necessarily playing well. But I had faith in those guys, and your best penalty killer is your goalie. And as we said, Alex Lyon made huge saves when he absolutely needed to on point blank, really, really high danger chances on that 5-on-3. And I think that speaks to the rest of the game as well in terms of his composure and how he faced a really tough situation. I think both of us can speak to 2 of your first 4 or 5 shots going in, especially off bad bounces, what that can do to your psyche. And it really shows how mentally strong of a person and goaltender he is.
Yeah. And like, would you say, like, if you were to we're beyond the halfway point of the season, like, where does Alex Lyon rank for you in terms of MVP of the team so far?
I mean, I think goaltending generally is one of the top 3 most important things, is why this team is where they are right now. And he's the main one. So I would put him definitely in that top 3 slot for individual players. It's hard to pick, honestly, because there are so many guys that have made such an impact, especially with lower expectations. I think obviously once UPL was hurt, I think everybody knew that it was his starter jobs to lose. But for what he's been able to do in high pressure situations against really good teams, I think has exceeded all of our expectations, maybe even his own. I think he's pretty confident in himself, and he told us over the summer that he just wanted to do whatever he possibly could to help this team win as many games as possible. And he's doing that and more. So super grateful for Alex Lyon, and it's nice to be on the other end of it, especially with what he did a couple of years ago in that game against Devin Levi at the end of the 2022-2023 season.
We got the real Owen Power checking in from the locker room. Big fan of the show. What's up? What's up, OP?
What's up, OP?
Are we sure this isn't Owen Power sucks 25? Because it could be.
Hey, I mean, that's how you know the tide is changing. I mean, I'm sure that guy's still in here, but
no,
or maybe he changed his username to the real Owen
right
Power.
Here.
Oh, there he is.
Right here.
There he is.
Oh my God.
I mean, especially after that game on Saturday night, I think he might change his tune here pretty soon. I read a great article from Matthew Fairburn today talking about how he's made significant strides, especially in the past 2 months, and I think it's noticeable watching him out on the ice. So positive development, and hopefully we could all just come to the middle.
Yeah. Now tomorrow, that's a tough one. I would say obviously you're going to see Ellis and not tomorrow. The only way you would have seen Lyon take both games if like you had a very, very low event game tonight where he wasn't really working much.
I don't think he would have regardless. I really don't.
You don't think so?
No, especially with the injury recently. And
that's true. Yeah.
And his age. And no, I think Ellis gets that game regardless. And obviously he probably had 30 plus saves tonight. So yeah, absolutely no way.
Would you have rather lie? I mean, granted, yeah, you don't. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Ellis probably didn't get you that win tonight.
Who knows? I think his high level gets you that win.
Well, that's not a knock against him. I just think that like the experience and being in that situation of possibly being down in a 2-0 hole, because both those first 2 goals are, they're not on Lyon.
No,
you know what I mean?
all.
Like one was a deflection, and one was an absolute snipe.
Yeah. Probably not, but I think I think we've seen his ceiling. I think he can steal a game here and there. So I wouldn't put it past him, but yeah, I mean, where his floor is and everything we've seen from him, obviously a bit chaotic sometimes, but I don't know. I'm confident him going into Tampa tomorrow night, especially with them coming off that crazy game. Was that yesterday, the Stadium Series game against the Bruins?
No.
Yeah. I think they're walking into the stadium in Tampa Bay Bucks uniforms. John Cooper's looks like he's a Italian mobster from the 1920s. Obviously they came back and won it, but it was absolutely nuts. I think that's potentially an emotional letdown spot for the Lightning tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, you're at the highest of highs, right? Like you had you win the outdoor game. It wasn't the Winter Classic, it's still Stadium Series, and and that was a fun game to watch. Don't get me wrong, high scoring. You had a goalie fight.
Hey, don't worry. If we get up early tomorrow, I've got my Tampa Bay Lightning walking into the stadium with Bucks uniforms memes ready. Like that was just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I appreciate
Kucherov looked so lost. He didn't know.
I appreciate the commitment to the bit, but yeah, clearly he hated that.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean too. Like, you all remember him at the All-Star game. He doesn't like that yet. He doesn't like the shtick of like theatrics and just doing stuff for the sake of entertainment. He's just there to play hockey, get drunk, and take his shirt off.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He might lead the league in scoring yet again.
Well, how many points does he have?
I saw someone post about it today. Let me see. He is up to 86. McDavid's got 95. McKinnon's got 91. So McDavid's probably going to run away with it, but Kucherov had a bit of a slow start too, and he still has 86 points in 49 games.
Yeah.
He's insane. He's absolutely insane.
Coyote Log Home Sink. Again, I don't know what that name is, but in terms of the Benson injury, we haven't gotten an update yet. I did just get the video from Alex Peters on his take on the video, so we're gonna be tweeting that out on both Twitter and our Instagram account. So make sure you're following Two Goalies One Mike, and he'll give you his thoughts on what it was. He did mention possible separation. It was a longer video, but he did mention to me that he has seen this type of injury multiple times throughout his career, and he said he has a pretty good idea of what it is. So we'll post that out shortly here after we get done with the show. But hopefully it's not as bad as it looked.
Yeah, Ruff said post game that Benson is still being evaluated. It's an upper body injury. As for the play, I thought
that should have been a penalty.
The defender definitely got his skate. I thought he actually did a pretty good job of getting on his outside and lifting his stick, but he clearly went down for a reason, especially Zach Benson, who would never go down if he didn't need to, especially a play at the net. I think the defender's right or left skate touched Benson's right skate, and that's the reason he fell and went so hard into the boards. So yeah, missed call. I don't necessarily think it was a dirty play, but it should have been a penalty.
Should have been a penalty for sure.
Really, really unfortunate. I don't think any suspension. I don't necessarily even think it was a slew foot, but yeah, really unfortunate. They got a penalty 10 seconds later, and Josh Stone was able to score. So ball don't lie, karma's a bitch. But at the end of the day, really, really unfortunate, especially if Benson is out for an extended period of time.
Dude, and Josh Stone just continuing to have an incredible season. That pass from behind the net, putting himself in a good position to get that pass from Krebs. Josh Stone just continuing to. I saw there was some graphics out there last week or 2 weeks ago about where he is like this year compared to where his dad was in the same point in his career. And he's on pace right now to exceed his father's numbers, which, I guess coming into the trade when it was first announced, people questioned it. I was one of them, because of what we were losing scoring wise in JJ Paterka. But if you were to tell me that he was going to have even this, if he was going to end his first season as a Sabre with the amount of points that he has right now and the amount of goals he has right now, I think every single Sabres fan would have signed up for that. And we're not even how many games are left in the year? I think every fan would have signed up for that.
Yeah, 100%. He's exceeded, kind of like Alex Lyon, every single expectation and then some. He is the quintessential NHL player. He back checks like his life depends on it. He gets to the front of the net. He's a really good playmaker, clearly beloved in the locker room. I don't know how we got so lucky. I count my lucky stars every day that somehow the Mammoth thought Josh Stone was expendable. So shout out to them, and shout out to Kevin Adams, potentially Yarmo as well, who was there for the trade when it happened. And we can look back and smile at the takes that we had when the trade was made.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions in the chat. People want to know did you tie-dye that shirt yourself?
No, this is an AmVets find, actually. I think I got this on the corner of Hurdle and Elmwood, the Amvets over there. I used to go there a ton in high school, and I needed something for the 4th of July one year, and it's been a staple of my closet ever since.
Yeah, and a couple of shout outs to some people in the chat. Welcome to chat, Derek. 69 points for the Sabres. Nice. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
So nice.
Hopefully we get a Montreal loss tonight. Last time I checked, somebody in the chat said it was tied 3-3. Don't know if somebody else can update us on that.
Still 3-3. Oh, about to go to overtime. Goddamn loser point. All right, so we'll be back to wild card 1 is what it is. Game in hand though, so a win tomorrow night would put us back to 3rd in the Atlantic. I don't care, whatever. They still control their own destiny. I'm not too worried about other teams at the moment. Shots 41-20 tonight for the Panthers. Shout out Alex Line. Hits 23-22 in favor of Buffalo. In the moment we've all been waiting for. Face-offs. 31 for the Panthers. 30 for the Sabres. So one of the better face-off nights. And I was trying to take actual note of it while the game was happening in terms of draws won and draws lost. They actually did all right today. And that was noticeable just by watching the broadcast and paying attention to it. McLeod was 9-7. Ostlund was 3-4. Tage 8-9. Not necessarily what he's known for. We'll take it. And Tyson Koshak 6-5. So I am somewhat pleased with that, and they need to keep that going because I think that's important.
For sure. What do you think of the Benson goal? Do you think Bob was up like all of us, watching the Hasek documentary? Got a little expired about the coming out of the net antics of the Dominator, and like to save fish out of water, or a guy who looked never looked more confused in my life when he realized that he had no shot and just didn't know what to do. Like Steve Dangle, I'll find the picture. He sent me a fantastic screenshot because I said, "Do your thing," where he says, "When you're a goalie, tend the goal." He loves to shout that when stuff like that happens. I'll see if I can bring it up, but it's a fantastic screen grab. Your thoughts on that goal as a goalie? When have you ever been in that situation that Bob was tonight?
100%. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I wouldn't necessarily say I am the best puck handler as a goalie, so I try to stay away from it unless I absolutely need to. But what's the saying? He who hesitates is lost. I think he hesitated a little bit on that play. And of course, a guy like Ryan McLeod, who's one of the best penalty killers in the league, coming out of the box, one of the fastest skaters on the Sabres. That's just a bad matchup for Sergei Bobrovsky. And definitely a bad play. And he would say so himself. I'd be interested to see if he was asked about it. But I think with those plays, you got to be sure. And also you have to go even sooner than you would even think. Like the moment you think it's like a good idea, you need to go like a couple seconds before that, especially going up against a fast goal. And he waited way too long, and it still wasn't an easy play for McLeod to get it over to Benson, who had 2 guys on him, and he still needed to get the puck in the net. Very Zach Benson goal, hardworking, gritty. I hope that he's all right. But yeah, really, really funny play. But sometimes those are the plays that need to go your way, especially after those 2 bad bounces in the first period. Luck kind of came back on our side on that.
It was a great board pass up to McLeod. Again, using his speed, and then Bob just whoa. But I'm gonna bring up the picture here.
I mean, if we're talking just like penalty kill or maybe even like a one-on-one situation, he's in good form there. If he's got guys on the other side covering the back door,
he's using his skate to take away the pass lane too.
Kind of looks like a soccer defender almost.
Yeah,
it's 5 holes open. That pass is already on its way to Benson by that point, and nighty night after that.
He's literally almost
I will say, winning back-to-back cups and a couple of Vezinas in there, you're afforded those opportunities. Of anyone in the league that could potentially get away with something like that, it's Sergei Bobrovsky. So I'm sure he's not going to lose too much sleep about it.
I love it. It's like that meme, like, so I guess you're wondering how I got in the situation.
Yeah,
good stuff.
There was a different screenshot. One of my favorite Twitter follows is hockey images, unfortunate hockey images that precede like certain events or whatever.
Yeah.
And I sent that to them. Hopefully they repost.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, is what it is. But yeah, hockey images that precede unfortunate events. That account, and it's Unfortunate Hockey if anyone wants to give them a follow. But yeah, no, it's pretty funny, especially coming from one of the best goalies in NHL history.
Yeah, and they said we had some in-depth conversation about him and the other 3 Russian goalies if Russia was in the Olympics this year. Like we even said, like Bob probably might have been the odd man out of that 3 goalie rotation.
Real quick on that, I got a tip from a friend the other day that the Lightning have 10 Olympians. 10, which is like an insane number. And also, if Russia was allowed to play, they would definitely have 12, potentially more.
Yeah.
so
who? Well, Cirelli, Braden Point. Who else?
Let me go down
Hedman.
the line. Hedman, Cirelli, Point. I think did Radish make the team? He should have. So Gensel, Hagel, Cirelli, Point, Hedman, Gergensons. There's got to be some guys from. It's got to be some guys from other teams that we're not thinking
Locomotive.
of.
Florida had a couple Latvians tonight.
I saw that. Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, just your typical guys that you don't necessarily. Bjorkstrand potentially. I would imagine. Who else? Yeah, hard to say off the top of my head here, but yeah, allegedly they have 10, which I think could potentially be a storyline for a team that's already on the older side in the months of March and April.
Yeah. The Bean Pot, which is going on right now. Lawton Zacher, Buffalo native, net for Northeastern, may have just made the save of the college season.
How do you spell his name?
Lawton Zacher.
How do you spell it?
L-A. I'm going to pull up the video here, but Lawton, then Zacher, Zacher. His brother plays, forget where his brother plays, but they both play FHL in the summers. But he just made an incredible stick save in the Bean Pot just now.
Oh yeah. Grabbed it by the paddle.
Oh yeah. It's incredible. I'll pull it up here in a second. Let's kick it back to our sponsors again. Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, of course, with 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you want to grab a beer, get to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you to as I'm like celebrating a Sabres win against Florida or celebrating a Montreal loss just now in OT. They only get 1 point. Sabres get 2. Damn those loser points when they don't go our way. But and of course, Extreme Discount Mattress, Western New York's premier place to get any to get a mattress. You can find them at extrememattress.com. There's Extreme with an X. If you want to check out their new closeout center, it's at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga, where they have one-of-a-kinds closeouts and floor models, all for up to 80% off their already low prices. And you get different beds like the 2-sided mattresses, Telelatex, Cool Gel Memory Foam, organic mattresses, Chatham & Wells, and of course, Scott and Living. Remember, if you mentioned you're a fan of Two Goalies or Mike, you get yourself a free mattress protector. And of course, Impulse Physical Therapy of Western New York. It's time to ditch the physical therapy clinics that treat you like you're just another number. Step into a world where you are the center of your care. Impulse is owned by Buffalo's only board-certified sports physical therapist. We work one-on-one using science-backed technology like 3D motion analysis and force plates to help you exceed your goals and become the healthiest, strongest version of yourself. So come experience the Impulse difference today and mention this for a discounted $77 assessment visit. So make sure you ask for Alex. Again, five-star facilities, 5-star staff over at Impulse Physical Therapy at 5087 Broadway, Suite 100 in Depew, New York, right next to Catalyst Fitness. You can't miss them, right next to DNL Plaza. So shout out to our 3 sponsors again. Hurls, there's so many, I think, good things to talk about this game tonight. Outside of what we already talked about, the play of Josh Doan, the play of Payton Krebs possibly having his best game of his career. I think the one thing that we kind of talk about, and I'm gonna steal this one from a different podcast today after the whistle. They call it Tuch lash. You've seen Jerry Maguire before, right?
Yeah, a long time ago though.
Cush lash was the phrase from that movie. We have Tuch lash, and I'm sorry to steal that from Petey, but that just constantly seems to be the constant talking point, and we're gonna beat that dead horse until it's finally decided on whether it's signing him or he's your own rental, like we talked about with Carter Hutton. Another great game from him tonight. Has anything changed in your mind? Ever since the quote, man, I just feel like when he says that, Hurls, like he's not saying that as a guy, in my opinion, who plans on leaving.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he wants to stay, but I also think he's got to be realistic and know what his market value is. At least for this season, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to be traded. I don't necessarily think he's going to sign an extension during the season either, unless he goes on this crazy generational run and the Sabres think he's too invaluable and don't want to even let him test free agency. I don't see that happening though. I think he's said himself, and his agent has said that they don't want to get a contract done to distract from what's happening during the season. Obviously, Josh Jones just got it done, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but he is not being traded to another team. He is too important to the room. He's the last guy off the ice after they win games. He is a leader in the locker room. Everybody loves him. He is a Sabres fan, born and raised from Western or Central New York. There is absolutely no way he will be traded. So I think that just gets into the conversation, whether it's going to be an own rental or if they can come to some type of compromise either before the season ends or the offseason. Ideally, 5 years, I think, would be better for the team if they front load it or give him a big signing bonus or give him a little bit more term. Give him a little bit more AAV. I think that potentially could work, but he's not going anywhere. And I think it doesn't necessarily need to be speculated that much because I think that's all that matters at this current moment.
Yeah, again, all valid points. There's zero chance. And, Built in Buffalo, they put out their graphic today about the debate. Could you see Alex Tuch making $11 million a season? Should the Sabres pay him $11 million a season? This was my thoughts today. No, I don't want to have to pay him $11 million. I think you need, like, to your point, you need to be realistic about that price tag. I'm okay with paying him 10. Totally okay with paying him 10. And the people who sit there and say that he's got maybe a couple good years left. Okay, well, let's look at players that are over 35 right now and still averaging more than a point per game. Are we going to say that Alex Tuch is that guy? No, he's not at the level of your Ovechkins, your Malkins, your Crosbys, all those guys who seem to just don't have. Tavares is another one. Stamkos this season is another one. Ryan O'Reilly is another one this season. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to put them in the same class as every single one of those players. But you also got to remember, like, Alex Tuch has stayed relatively healthy for most of his career. Like, he's not a guy that's dealt with a lot of injuries, hampered a lot of injuries, takes really good care of his body. If there was a guy that on this team that you were going to sign to beyond 35 years old, Hurls, would you be happy if you got because he wants an 8-year deal, right? Like, that's the plan. He wants to cash in now. He wants this to be the last contract he signs, I'd imagine.
I would think so, yeah. And yeah, for sure.
If you're getting 4 good years of point per game play, and then maybe 4 years of like 50 or maybe more, are you happy with that? I think I am.
Yeah, I think 8 years is tough, especially at 11 million. But I think there's
not 11. I would pay 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't do 11 either. I think there's a compromise to be had here. I think 5 years at maybe 11 and a half still gets you 5 years of your prime or the end of your prime, $55-60 million compared to, I don't know what he could get on the he could get a maximum of 7 years on the open market. I'm pretty sure it could be 8 with the Sabres because it's with his current team. But Yeah, I don't know. I hope he never wants to be team friendly. Doesn't necessarily want to short himself what he potentially could earn. But I think if anyone were to do it, I think it would be someone like Alex Tuch with the story that he has and the background that he has. I don't think he would be being ripped off. I just think there's an intelligent way to do it, and hopefully Yarmo and Josh Flynn and Mark Bergerman and Tuch's agent can talk it out, come to some type of compromise, some type of deal.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think if it gets beyond the trade deadline, that's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like you could still can you still negotiate a contract extension even beyond the trade deadline? Yeah, you can. I think you can, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think there's any like limiting signing your own free, potential free agents beyond the trade deadline in season. I mean, I think maybe Tuch does want to wait and see where this team goes if they can get their way into the playoffs. Maybe that is what he wants to wait, why he's waiting, or maybe he wants to wait out. And maybe if they do get to the playoffs, maybe he is willing to take a little bit less because this team finally does get over the hump. I don't know if that's like his angle, but I just think that if this team does get to the playoffs, given Alex Tuch's commitment to the city of Buffalo and everything he said, and if he backs up everything he says, I could totally see him taking a slight discount. What do you see as a discount for him?
Probably 10 and a half, right? Like I imagine.
I think the days of anything less than 10 are over, right?
Yeah, Kemp. Yeah, for sure. Kempe got 10 and a half, and he's a very similar player to Kempe. I'd have to look at the advanced numbers, but he might be even better, especially with his impact on the PK and the defensive zone. Mm-hmm. And then obviously things that you can't measure, which you can measure intangibly, are as leadership skills and what he means to the room. So yeah, I would say 10 and a half is the lowest. And I think potentially a team would give him 7 times 11 and a half, which would be tough for the Sabres to do. I really believe that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. We're heading on 40 minutes.
Real quick, Canadians lost in overtime.
Yeah, we already said that.
Oh, you did? Shout out to me for paying attention.
Yeah, I brought up like 5 different comments. People celebrating in the comments.
Shout out.
You're getting yelled at in the chat too because you never respond to chats that are.
The chats are just thrown up on the screen so quickly. I can't read.
Can't you see them on your screen? Like
I can, but you filter through them quick sometimes. It's hard for me to read them.
You can't scroll through them like I can.
Oh no, I can't. I don't think.
Oh, we got to get you access to that.
Oh no, yeah, I can. I never knew I could do that.
Well, come on. Get with the program, dude.
Shout out.
Can you click on one? Can you bring one up on screen?
Let's see. Join the chat. How do I click on it? No, I don't think I can.
Click on comments. Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see them as they're generating?
I can see them. This is a whole new world. I had no idea. Shout out to the chat.
These guys, you're getting called out a lot for never.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Come at me. You can't hurt me. I'm already dead.
Oh man. Oh God. We're gonna go into the locker room. Quotes from the room brought to you by Fatty Beer Company. Again, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from. Shout out to Brian Koziel with always getting us the post-game quotes from in the room. And there's quite a few of them here before we get to Hurls' final thoughts. Let's see here. Tuch on the 5-on-3 penalty kill. I thought we took away passing lanes, one-timers, and when we needed a big save, Lizzie. He calls him Lizzie.
Lizzie? Lion?
Yeah, he calls Lion Lizzie. Right, Lyzee is how Brian spelled it.
We're gonna have to run with that.
Fuck, man. Lizzie. All right. Lizzie. Hey, actually, did you watch the Hasek documentary yet? Not to get off that.
I haven't yet. No.
His original Sabres nickname before he was a Dominator was the Count.
I read an article today about that
because he used to wear a trench coat, I guess.
That's pretty sick.
So he like they called him the Count for like his first season when he first started establishing himself as a starter, and then I guess somebody called in to the then post-game show and called him, we need to call this guy the Dominator. And that's how it, I'd love to know who that person was because they deserve all the credit in the world for coming up with that nickname. So, and there was a lot of fun, like interesting facts that not even I knew about. Like I always knew that Hasek didn't know he was drafted until like a month or two later. He found out he was drafted, Hurls, at a newsstand in Paris. That's how he found out. His best friend, who was also on the Czech team with him, was reading a hockey newspaper that actually had Pat LaFontaine on the front with the Islanders on it. He might have been, somebody might correct me wrong, Mogilny might have even been on that cover too. I don't know. I could be wrong, but he says, "Hey Dom, I was drafted," and Hasek was reading some other magazine. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's great," and he kept reading his magazine, and then he goes, "Dom, you were drafted too," and he had no reaction because Dom Lederman's like, "I didn't know what being drafted meant." He goes, "I had no clue what it meant to be drafted in the NHL," which is crazy to me and kind of speaks to the politics back then and how bad it was in getting information as a player because they were so under lock and key. But the greatest goaltender of all time found out that he was drafted by Chicago at a newsstand a month or two after the fact, which again to me is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah. Tuch said they need to elevate their compete and make simpler plays. Says he was really proud of the team for making for coming back in that game in the first period. Tuch on Payton Krebs. He was incredible tonight. He was flying. He won battles. It was a well-rounded game for him. He was definitely our MVP tonight. I don't know. Alex Lyon might have something to say about that. Lyon says they got desperate. They had the right mentality coming into the game, but sometimes it doesn't happen right away, and he's glad they turned it around. Payton Krebs, you're going to make mistakes. It's how you respond. Says they know Lindy. Says he knows Lindy trusts him. I try to take pride to be the best wherever I'm at in the lineup. Says no matter where he plays in the lineup, he wants to be at his best to help. Krebs says he initially thought he might have had a breakaway, but the bench helped out, letting him know that more help was coming with Doan, and he looked up and found him. Krebs said that it's great having the moms on the trip. Said he'd even choked up a little having her here to watch him play. Says she's been so excited and been talking about this trip since the summer. Ruff says on the 5-on-3 PK was very positionally sound. They gave up the shots they had to give up, but they stayed inside. They covered the lanes and forced them into angled shots. Ruff says Krebs had one heck of a game for us. On the Benson injury, he's still being evaluated. It is an upper body injury. Now we're going to kick over to you, Hurls, for your final thoughts.
Real quick, shout out to Sabres head athletic trainer, Rich Stinziano, for his 15th 100th NHL game. He got the belt after the game. I was just on the Sabres Instagram to see who got it. I think Krebs probably would have from Lyon, but he gave it to Stins. So shout out to him. 1,500 games is a lot, especially for a trainer. And it seems like the boys love him. So shout out to him. But yeah, huge win. Obviously didn't start great, but shows the character of this team, their ability to bounce back. As we've said over the past, it's coming up on 2 months now. They can win in different ways. They can come back. They can protect a lead. They can do whatever you need them to. It's obviously a very good team. And I think they even showed that on Saturday night against the Habs. The Habs are clearly a very good team as well, and it's going to be a dogfight in the Atlantic for the rest of the season. So got to prove it again tomorrow. That's the nature of this league, especially in this condensed schedule before the Olympic break. But 2 games left before that break. Gotta go into that strong. Would love 3 or 4 points. 4 would be obviously great, but I think 3 is absolutely realistic. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But massive 2 points in regulation tonight.
Yeah, you needed to take 2 points here. You couldn't allow Florida to get 1. Again, they're at the bottom of the standings, but you don't want to give them any hope to crawl back into this. You go into tomorrow against one of the hottest teams in the NHL right next to you in Tampa Bay in their barn. It's obviously what's it, the Amelia Arena, I think it's called.
Emily.
Sorry. You know, very, very loud arena, especially when they're playing well. So hopefully, you know, Colton Ellis can have a strong game. You know, Buffalo has found ways to really lock it down defensively this past month. So hopefully they have one of those style games. They come out and play like that and bury the chances they do get. Hopefully maybe the power play turns itself around a little bit more. And, you know, when they do get an opportunity on the power play to take advantage of it. Yeah. And I think that, to your point, if you can come out of tomorrow with at least 1 point, that's a huge win on this trip. And I guess the right pronunciation of what Tuch called line is Lizer. So Lizer. So
Lizer.
Lizer.
We'll run with it.
We'll run with it. Zucker is our power play specialist. Agreed. I agree with you there. With that being said, guys, if you've enjoyed I'll hang up and listen, or if you enjoy the Two Goalies One Mic podcast, you can find audio only. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Two Goalies One Mic. If you are on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, again, you can find myself at DuaneS39. You can find my co-host right there at CHurls13. Find the show at Two Goalies One Mic. Again, that is on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook as well, like I said. And as I can see, all of you that are watching right now on YouTube, I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Stop right now. Hit the like button. Hit it and keep hitting it. Hit it, unlike it, and like it again if you have to. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when we go live if you haven't already. Appreciate all your support. We will talk to you tomorrow night. And as always, go Sabres. Let's go beat Tampa.